Here is a psychology fact you're not ready for. You don't control most of your decisions. Your brain does. And the scary part? It makes choices before you're even aware of them. You think you choose what to say. You think you choose who to love. You think you choose what to believe. But neuroscience shows that your brain starts making decisions milliseconds before you consciously decide. So the real question is, if you're not in control, then what is? We like to believe we are rational, logical, independent, free thinkers. But psychology says something darker. Most of your behavior is automatic. Habits, emotional reactions, attractions, fears. They're not random. They are patterns. And patterns are programmed. From childhood, from trauma, from repetition, from society. You're not acting. You're reacting. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. You defend these patterns as if they're your personality. Let's start with biology. Your brain has one primary goal: survival. Not happiness, not success, not fulfillment. Survival. That means your brain is constantly scanning for rejection, threat, uncertainty, loss of status. And when it detects those things, it activates fear, even if there's no real danger. That's why you stay in toxic relationships. You avoid difficult conversations. You procrastinate on big goals. Your nervous system prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar growth. But biology is only the first layer. The darker control system is psychological conditioning. Think about this. As a child, you learned how to get approval, how to avoid punishment, how to receive love. Maybe you learned that being quiet keeps you safe. Maybe you learned that being perfect earns affection. Maybe you learned that expressing emotion leads to rejection. And those rules didn't disappear. They became your adult personality. The nice person, the overachiever, the people pleaser, the avoider. You call it personality. Psychology calls it adaptation. And this next part explains why you keep repeating the same mistakes. Your brain loves familiarity, even if it's painful. That's why people who were ignored as children often chase emotionally unavailable partners. That's why people raised in chaos feel uncomfortable in peace. The brain confuses familiar with safe. So it pulls you toward what matches your past, not what matches your potential. You think you're choosing partners. You're choosing patterns. If that hit you, good. It means you're seeing the strings. Now let's go even deeper. Society programs you too. What success looks like. What attractiveness means. What normal behavior is. From social media, from culture, from comparison. You start chasing goals that aren't even yours. You adopt opinions you never questioned. You perform identities for validation. And slowly, you lose awareness of who you actually are. Here's the darkest part. Your ego protects these patterns. When someone challenges your belief, you feel attacked. When someone points out your flaw, you get defensive. Why? Because if your behavior isn't you, then who are you? So the ego fights to maintain the illusion of control, even if it keeps you stuck. Now here's the empowering truth. You're not powerless, but awareness is the first rebellion. The moment you pause before reacting, the moment you question, why did I feel triggered? You create space, and in that space, you regain control. Most people never question their reactions. That's why they stay programmed. Here's the mental exercise. For the next 7 days, observe yourself. When you feel anger, ask, what am I protecting? When you feel attraction, ask, is this chemistry or familiarity? When you procrastinate, ask, what fear is underneath this? Don't judge, just observe, because the moment you observe a pattern, it weakens, and when patterns weaken, you choose differently. The dark science of human behavior isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up. You are not as free as you think, but you are more powerful than you realize. The real question is, will you keep living on autopilot, or will you finally take back control?